Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to create an oil pastel drawing that's based on emotions from a memory that you have. I'm going to go over all of the information about how this lesson works, what to do in order, and all of that. But if you want to just skip right ahead to the art part where I'm actually showing you how to use oil pastels, you can totally do that. So, are you ready? Let's get started. So we are going to learn about colors and emotions, and we're going to go over what color psychology is, how we apply it, all of that. So color psychology, in its simplest terms, has become a popular area of color theory that assigns emotional and psychological connotations between colors and emotions. Here's how we're going to apply it. First, you're going to pick a memory where you felt at least 3 different emotions over the course of the memory. Then you are going to write about your memory in depth and be sure to include all of the details of those emotions that you felt and why you felt those emotions, and it needs to be at least 1 page. Then you're going to learn about color psychology and then choose the colors that apply with your memory that you wrote about and create an abstracted artwork using those colors to portray your story without using any pictures or words. So no drawings at all, just colors. And when you're writing about your memory, you need to make sure you include the following. So what emotions do you feel throughout the course of the memory or story? You need to give context and details like what is happening, how do you feel as it's happening, who were you with, where were you, what was the occasion, and be chronological. First this, then this, then this, and add as many details as you can think of to make the telling of your story and your memory more accurate and more interesting. You're just going to need a writing utensil and paper, but you are going to create a brainstorming mind map that is like this, where you have a main idea in the center and your emotions on the sides, and then you're going to branch off from those emotions and tell me what types of things are going on during the course of that. So here's just some other reminders, do a mind map, then you're going to write it out, and then you're going to figure out which colors represent the emotions present in your story, and you're going to write them down so that you don't forget. Okay, so here are some examples of things that go along with each color. So if you need to pause it and you can take time to read these. And I go through most of the colors, but not all. So if you do need to end up Googling some, that's totally all right. And some of them are not in here. So if you want to think of a synonym for some of the emotions, then that would be the color that you would be using. All right. So now it's time to create, and you're going to create your artwork based on your memory, okay? So using the colors of your emotional memory, you're going to create a unique piece of artwork that conveys those emotions by just using colors. I love this artwork because it's very light and airy and happy and serene at the top, but all those positive emotions are getting pulled down into the darkness, into the negative emotions, and that tells quite the story using nothing but colors. There's no pictures in any of these. If you want to pause it and look at them longer, you totally can, but you can just use shapes and colors, and you're going to be blending, and you're going to be arranging the colors in a certain way that it portrays a story that you're trying to tell. Okay, so those are the steps, and if you need to pause that to read the steps, you also can do that as well. And if you are using this and you're not in a school setting, that's totally fine. You can ignore that. All right, so if you draw using oil pastels and you draw really, really light like this ends up looking like a crayon drawing. That looks bad. So you need to press hard, okay? Because basically oil pastels are oil paint in crayon form. So if you do not press hard, they're not going to get the pigment that you want. To blend, you can either use the lighter color on top of the darker color, or you can use white to blend on top of that as well. But if you are using white, just be careful because it will lighten your colors up, okay? So when you're blending, you want to make sure that you're blending all of the areas so that it actually looks like an oil painting and not a crayon drawing, because if it looks like a crayon drawing, it's going to look very cheap and lazy and like you didn't know what you were doing. And honestly, you might not know what you're doing, but I'm trying to give you some tips to make it look like you do know what you're doing. All right. So here I am just trying to tell my story using the different line directions to try and have a story that flows from one side of the paper to the other and really catch your eye. And I'm using this peachy color to try and blend the pinks and the reds right there. And it's not a color that was in the slideshow, but that's totally fine. But do you see that it got dirty and then it kind of smeared red where I didn't want red? So you need to watch out for that, okay? And then here I'm just adding some gray and just adding different like shadows. And then I'm going to go in with black because my memory was about having a panic attack while I walked across the stage in front of thousands of people for college graduation. So that was super fun for me. And then it's got like the pink and the happy and everything in there because my dad ended up surprising me and like showing up to my graduation, even though it was like a 17-hour drive, and it was very nice. So what I just did right there was peel all the paper off because my oil pastel was getting really, really low. And do you notice how I'm leaving like some white areas and that looks really cheap? Well, I purposefully did that because I wanted to add some gray because even though I was having a legit full-blown panic attack, I could still tell that I was having some happy emotions as well. It was kind of like diluted. And so that's what the gray is. And so here I have a dirty oil pastel, and to not repeat the same mistakes, I wiped it off with a paper towel. And just make sure that you do that so that you don't get colors where you don't want the colors. So then I'm going in and I am blending and blending and blending and blending because again, we do not want this to look cheap. We want it to look like an oil painting. So you really want to go throughout the entire thing and blend it. All right. So there are multiple other ways to blend as well, and I will get into that at the very end. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow here because at the very beginning of my day, I was very excited that I was graduating college, but all of that excitement got washed out and just sucked into the blackness when I had a full-blown panic attack when I was walking across the stage. So that's why the yellow is pretty diluted. And here I am wiping off the oil pastel again so that I can go into this lighter area and not have black streaks in it. But I do have black at the very top through those circles because I was still a little bit panicking, having a little bit of anxiety, even though I was surprised to see my dad and having like the rest of the day go really well. And so I added some more black into there so that you can see that it kind of, it slowly faded away. All right. So then now what I'm going to do to finish blending this off is I am going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to press and I'm going to just wipe it all around, okay? And make sure you're going in the line direction of your lines because if you don't, then it's going to smear and it's going to look weird and your line direction that you initially used is going to get messed up, okay? And if you're going over different areas and you don't want to have those dark areas, then you're going to need a clean part of the paper towel. So I made quite a mess on the table, but it's super simple to clean it up. You're just going to use soapy water and a paper towel and it comes right off. If you notice though, I used the same paper towel throughout the entire table and I smeared other pieces everywhere. So get multiple paper towels if you need it. All right, so that's it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for other videos that you want to see, leave that all down in the comments below. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.